the video leaked last Friday,
Or the
and we're sitting here on the following
serious.
Wednesday, and he's already saying, yeah, he's coming back and he's been fine, and we're going to move forward.
That's exactly what my first thought when we talked about this story initially was, I'm not going to be shocked if Draymond Green's suddenly on the trade block after this because of what that does to a team that's defending champions. Now, granted, Draymond Green is a multiple ring holder with the Warriors.
One of the original group.
He's been a part of it. Yeah. He's the original core. But when it goes that south and it corresponds with failing offensive numbers for Draymond Green, I get that he's a jack of all trades and does a lot of different things for them and does a lot of the dirty work. That's an issue. That's going to be an issue for this team. I don't think they get over it that quickly. It's also fascinating to me that Steve Kerr, a guy who was punched by Michael Jordan in, before this, the most high-profile practice fight in the history of the NBA, that we still talk about to this day, that everyone wanted to watch the episode of Last Dance when they finally got and addressed the fight, and they both talked about it on camera for the first time ever. It's Steve Kerr as head coach that is okay with a simple fine for Draymond Green after all this.
It's a weird situation.
It is.
It makes me interested in how they do in the first 10 days, which I'm not previously particularly interested in.
Let me also get to this. I was listening to, on our Nashville radio affiliate station, 94.9 The Fan, had Colin Cowherd on before us, and I was in the car listening to some of what he was saying, and he kind of got into what a lot of people say is, don't compare. Paul, get that fly off your head right now. If you smacked it right there, you would have killed that thing. We'd have been done with it. It was sitting perfectly on your head. But what a lot of people go to, we will too. Hey, don't put your workplace politics into a locker room or a practice floor or a practice field or a clubhouse because your job is not their job. And I get that. Like I don't agree with people who are saying call the cops, get him arrested for this. No, you don't do that. But it needs to be dealt with more than a fine with a team when it's something like that. And Cowherd was going into this. I've talked to a lot of people around the league. This is way more common than you think. I'm calling BS on that. Are fights in practice common? Shoving matches? Guys in each other's face screaming obscenities at each other? Is that common? Sure. That's going to happen in practice. Dudes knocking guys out and buckling their knees with a first punch? That's not common. There's a reason we talk about Jordan and Kerr. Michael Jordan, the most competitive dude of all time, isn't knocking guys out randomly in practice. He did it once.
Well,
and we talk about it still to this day.
But here's the next layer to it. Even though some would say it happens, my response would be, okay, let's say video surfaces of this on a Friday. The following Friday is the dude that threw the punch playing in a preseason game. 7 days later.
You would not think so.
You shouldn't.
That's the intrigue to me. It's not that they're allowed him back. It's how quickly. And it's got to come with Jordan Poole's blessing. Okay, so that's number one. But even so, there's still a damage to the culture that Kerr's referring to that, to their credit, they've always had.
Yeah.
That's, to me, the intrigue with it is how quickly they made the decision and whether, to what, Paul, you're saying, like, are there elements of this that we're going to see moving forward? Because now everyone's going to be looking for it.
Well, you could go to Poole as Kerr and management and say, for the good of the team, we need you to kind of swallow this and shake hands and put it behind you. And that's fine. And maybe Poole's a big enough guy to do that. But what's the consequence to Green?
Yeah, just money, I guess.
Just money, and that doesn't seem
They
sufficient.
had a number of meetings, closed-door meetings between Poole, Kerr, and the front office. They also met with Steph Curry. Kerr said that.
How many meetings did they have with Green is what I want to know.
Yeah, well, at first they had to get the blessing of the guys that were remaining, everyone else saying, like, hey, what do we do here? And the quote from Kerr is, Poole said he's, quote, willing to move forward and willing to get back out there on the floor with Draymond and go to work.
This seems a little bit backwards that they're doing so much talking to Poole, and we're hearing all about these conversations with Poole. We're not hearing so much about the conversations with Green.
And
Green's the problem.
You put Jordan Poole in an awkward spot, though.
Yes.
With that, and I'm sympathetic to that. The guy's trying to be the best teammate he can be. He's pissed. Of course. Everyone in America has now seen him get laid out on a security cam footage and getting knocked out in practice by Draymond Green. It's embarrassing. It's emasculating to him.
Well,
he's not expecting to get punched. They've probably talked trash a bunch, probably shoved each other. He shoves him out of his face when he gets nose to nose with him. He's not expecting to get his face cracked by Draymond Green. Everyone sees it. And now you've got the owner and the head coach coming in and saying, all right, Jordan, what do you want to do?
Yeah, now the optics make it seem like it was on him.
But then if Jordan Poole comes back, I'm trying to put myself in his shoes. I say, I want him to GTFO.
Yeah, I don't want to work with this guy.
Cut him. Okay, well, just know that he's a vital part of our team and our culture. And if we do that, we're probably not going to be able to replace his production. That's a terrible spot for Jordan Poole to be in.
Yeah, that decision should be made over Jordan Poole's head.
Absolutely.
The best possible outcome now for me optically is to have a joint press conference with both of them.